California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the sun. Each morning at dawning, a little birdie sings.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Huell's Gold. I'm Chris.
I'm Alan, and this is episode 43.
Yeah, it is. The same number as Warren Moon.
Rest in peace.
It's not
NFL
number.
career. Warren Moon was number 8.
You would know. You're the Vikings fan.
No, what was he? Was it 8?
Do we have to look something up already?
Okay. Yeah, we got it.
Hold on.
This is amazing.
Dude. Come
That
on.
was a Vikings fail. Okay.
Number 1.
He was number 1. Brad Johnson, right, was like, what, 14? 15? Probably 14.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get on this crazy tangent here, but I know that you need to get your football fix in. It's fall time.
Yeah? We get 4 months of this.
Even though it's the World Series going on.
Well, the only football player I care about right now is Huell.
Double H? I think he liked football. Or at least, yeah, he liked it. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
I don't see him as a baseball fan, but the Dodgers in the World Series.
Probably the historical aspects of baseball.
He would have, he would have enjoyed seeing the Dodgers being an LA boy and all. But that's not at all what this episode is about.
Oh, no?
We're flying all off the handle here, which
We're flying over the show.
it's a good thing because this is all about flying all over the place. In fact, this episode is called Wings Over California, according to Chapman. Now, Huell, in the episode, calls it historic things that glide through the sky.
That's not
going to fit in the characters for the title of our episode, so we're not doing that.
I was hoping this was the inspiration for soaring
over California.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish he had narrated that. Imagine that.
That would have been awesome.
He wasn't the hugest Disney fan, though, I don't think.
No, there was that interview with the guys in the room where he talks about it.
Yeah. Well, he was in the Winnie the Pooh movie. Do they own Disney? Own the
I don't know.
property?
I'm gonna let that one go, though. We don't have to look
No,
that
yeah.
up.
Look that one up for yourself. We're going to get too crazy. But one thing that was super crazy, not the wrestler, but was the theme this week is a rerun. This is our boy Babalade.
Babalade from the Blue Line.
Baby, yeah. And that was way back in like episode 2 or 3. So they've been sitting on this one wanting to use it again for a while. And you're in for a special treat because there's another recycled theme at the end. We'll get to that one. But first, Huell needs to tell us what the heck is going on. Where is he? Well, we need to tell you where he is because he's not going to say it in the clip. We're going to Catalina again.
Avalon.
Alan's favorite place he wants to go to. He's told me so many
Favorite
times.
place I've never been.
Yeah. So, Huell, tell us why you're in Catalina.
Well, on our way over, we had some unexpected visitors. A school of dolphin following alongside the ferry boat. And then, a few minutes later, we pulled into the beautiful little harbor at Avalon. It was there I met up with Patricia Moore, who's the curator of the Catalina Island Museum. She walked me over to the museum, which is located on the lower level of the famous Catalina Island Casino, which was built in the late 20s and is still used for dances and as a movie theater. After a quick tour of the museum, which traces the rather colorful history of the island from its earliest days, we walked out onto a point near the casino. And Patricia filled me in on this little-known but very interesting part of Catalina's past that took place up in the air.
All right, there it is. Pigeons.
Do you know what we forgot? Did you notice that Huell, when he was on the back of the boat, he put his arms out like he was a bird?
He did do that. And I'm proud of you for not making a Titanic reference on that, because
Huell did it first.
this played out. Yeah. I think this was about the same year, because we're in 94. That's right when
Is
Titanic.
that when it came out?
I don't think it came out in 94. Did it? Oh, gosh. Hold on.
This is amazing.
Dude, you're way off.
Was I right, though?
No.
I said Huell did it first.
Oh, well, yeah, you are right on that. I thought you meant on the years.
Hey,
No, it was
coming down on me.
1997.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we used to own that giant box set.
Giant
Two-
being 2 VHS.
Well, it's two next to each other, and it ain't no puppy, as Joe Dirt would say.
Another great movie.
All right, so
Let's get into this.
let's do it.
The Pigeon Mail Service of Catalina Island. This is pretty cool to me. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Like a couple months ago, we did that Pony Express, and that's like the most famous, what would you call it? Like privatized mail system.
Yeah.
Dude, this got a beat.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Wait, why didn't
Why
I
didn't
think
this
instead
just
of riding
become...
giant horses, you would send pigeons. But
Yeah.
maybe this was the Zahn brothers. They were pioneers.
The Zahn brothers were, according to Patricia Moore, who's the curator of the Catalina Island Museum, the creators of this system, and they were just young whippersnappers when they did this, because she explains that the ferry only ran once a day, and these well-to-do hoity-toities on Catalina had to have special messages sent back to the mainland to, like, for business purposes, but then the examples she gives are not business.
Right.
Hey, I caught a 40-pound fish, bro. Like,
Because you would think if they were bougie bros, that they would be, buy, sell, buy, sell.
yeah. Was there a stock exchange in Los Angeles at this time?
Dude, come on. Of course. No, I don't know.
Well, it's pretty cool, and Patricia she gives Huell a little overview at the museum at first, and they go out to the water, and she's got this cool, like, striped long sleeve shirt that has some little designs around the collar. But I wish they had gone in close, because I think, like, that shirt would definitely, you could have found that at, like, Forever 21 now.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't, so unfortunately we don't have a close-up date for this.
We should make a note, because Huell visited the museum and the casino first, that there is a later episode that's entirely dedicated to the casino.
Totally, yeah.
So,
and it's weird, because I got excited for that one, thinking, like, oh, a casino, like, that's probably why people went to Catalina to gamble. No, it's not a gambling casino. It's just kind of like a fancy place.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I guess, because you could have just gone to Tachi to do some gambling?
Tachi.
Right?
Yeah, Golden West.
Yeah, any of those. So, speaking of money, did you do any exchange rates on this?
No, I didn't.
We just fudge it. It doesn't matter.
Fudge it.
Yeah, it was 50 cents.
50 cents in the late 1800s?
Yeah. $30 now.
That's a lot. That's a lot now, yeah.
That's the thing with exchange rates from past to present or whatnot. I'll believe whatever it says. No, if it's like, oh, that's not that much, or astronomically different, I always just take it at face value.
Yeah.
Like, oh, 50 cents in 1932? That must have been $40,000.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Well, the weird part about it is that the purchasing power, I think, is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that it was relatively stable back then. These days, not so much.
Well,
whatever happened to nickel candy?
Yeah, that wasn't there's a lot, because this is thrown out in just like everyday economics talk about the price of the 10-cent or the size of the 10-cent Hershey bar, like went down until they couldn't even have a 10-cent one anymore.
Right. Well, it's like it's sort of the same thing can cost more money, or you can get less of the thing for the same money. It's still type of inflation either way.
Well, here's the real question. How much would you pay today for a pigeon message sent? Like, even just because you only live like a mile away. So if...
Just to get a pigeon? I'd pay you $5. What would you pay?
To own a whole pigeon that would do that for me?
Oh, to buy a whole pigeon. I thought you meant just for the trip.
Oh, for the trip?
Oh,
I thought you meant buy a whole pigeon.
pay $300 for a pigeon that could do that.
Over the whole coop and everything?
Yeah.
Speaking of coops, we're switching gears a little bit because we're going to be talking old Gordon Hayes. And I got to tell you, Gordon has probably my favorite title that's given to him in his little, what do you call that?
Description.
Yeah.
Of himself?
When his name rolls out underneath him, he's just Pigeon Man. Gordon Hayes, Pigeon Man.
So this is the thing. And he was also described as a pigeon racing expert.
Yeah.
And he was an ex-pigeon master. I don't know what they call him.
He was
the Pigeon Corps.
Yeah, he was in the Pigeon Corps in World War II, which, news to me. I didn't know this.
I didn't know
There was
this.
a lot of stuff going on in World War II, so I'm not surprised.
Did you know he authored a book?
Of course not. But of course not, I didn't know. And of course, yes, he did author a book.
Oh, yeah. It's called The Pigeons That Went to War.
Oh, man.
So
Christmas is coming up, everyone.
all of this...
Please feel free. If you have a copy of that book, send it this way, because that is the exact kind of super specific history stuff
gifts you love.
I love.
Do you remember my idea for the wrestling rule book? And that was dumb?
Yeah, it wasn't a dumb idea. It's dumb that they don't have it.
Yeah.
I guess it would always have to be changed. It would be giant because there's all the different caveats that
Every year he'd come out with something.
the pro wrestling rules, handbook of rules.
Yeah. I like it.
Well, the market's open, dude.
Well, we'll see.
All right.
We'll see. All that to say, Gordon Hayes is a reminder that you should never give up on your dreams.
Absolutely not. Because he obviously got into the war. He was probably drafted. I don't know. Maybe if we had the back flap of that book, we'd know. But
He seems like a guy that would be drafted.
yeah, I don't
know.
I don't know either, but
It's a 50-50 chance.
just the fact that haphazardly he was thrown into this Pigeon Corps, I'm assuming.
And he flew with it.
Yeah. And it just kind of defined his whole life. He's Pigeon Man. And the reason he's here is because he's got these racing pigeons that Huell is just so enamored with, because they're going to do a recreation of the Pigeon Messenger Service. And Huell asked him the golden question, because, I'm sure everyone has always wondered this. How the heck do these birds do this?
Yep.
How do they do it? So Huell asked that in kind of a nicer way. And what did Gordon say? That there's a scientists in Italy studying them, and
So
they just don't know? In 94.
As of 1994, apparently Gordon was so enamored with this subject that he was steeped in the literature.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an Italian study that I guess didn't resolve that question of how do homing pigeons, racing pigeons and homing pigeons, are you getting that they're the same thing?
I was assuming.
I'm getting they're the same thing. Well, anyway, apparently,
Uh-oh.
in 2013, I just have the darn academic citation in front of
Okay.
me, so I don't remember his first name. I think it's John Hagstrom. 2013, in the Journal of Experimental Biology, published a paper titled "Atmospheric Propagation Modeling Indicates Homing Pigeons Use Loft Space Infrasonic Map Cues."
God, I love academic papers, man.
Well, anyway, he thinks he solved the problem. He thinks that they have maps that it's sort of like a refraction of the sound, and once it becomes familiar,
Almost like echolocation with bats, maybe?
yeah, it's what. I'm wondering why they didn't make that parallel, though. I wonder if it's maybe something
It's gotta
similar,
be
just a little different.
Yeah, probably different enough to where they don't even want to go there.
So I wonder. I just hope that Gordon lived long enough. I tried to look for his obituary. Not that I didn't trust that he would He wouldn't be alive 24 years later.
Well, so many World War II vets aren't with us anymore,
That's
so
true.
it's not a uncommon assumption.
And I feel like we need to see if we can find an oral history with him. That was a big project. Well, anyway.
Totally.
I hope he was alive to see that study.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of studies, we're going to study the fact that they do straight up just send pigeons back to Gordon's house. And the whole deal here, they got a whole system here. So we're still with Patricia. We got Gordon. We're at the shore here. And they send some pigeons off. And the pigeons are going to be at Gordon's house within 20 minutes. But Huell and Gordon are going on the ferry, which is going to take an hour. And then they're going to radio Gordon's assistant, which how do you get that job?
Mm-hmm.
And say, hey, send the other ones. And they're going to send another batch so that they can see the arrivals. And that's what happens. And it's it totally works. Like I shouldn't be surprised. This has happened millions of times for many years, but there it is. They just show up,
and you get a little pill,
yeah,
with a note in it.
I guess maybe this is why it didn't go over as well as the Pony Express, because like you got to have it on like what is that size of paper? Probably like a 1.5 by 3 piece of paper, and you can only send one at a time.
Yeah, and they had to send multiple messages, right? The same message on multiple birds.
Oh yeah, because
just in case.
I forgot about that. Yeah, because sometimes he'll ask, "Do the birds? Do they always make it?" And Patricia said, "Oh, sometimes they would. They wouldn't want to leave because there'd be electrical storms and it would mess up their head system."
Well, I think
that they
she
had.
said they weren't stupid enough to fly into them, I think is what she said.
But then she said that sometimes they would show up and they would be riddled with buckshot. So I don't know what's going on. There were fools like in the ocean shooting birds. But that's, I guess, what happened. And that's why they would send multiple pigeons with the same message just in case one got shot up, I guess.
Well, yeah. So that was the question that was answered then. How did you... we didn't get to that. How did they train them?
Oh, that was cool, too,
Because
yeah.
she mentioned it. That really, it was just training them incrementally.
Mm-hmm.
A little further away, a bit further away. It's a similar way that our friends, they have a hairless cat where they're living
bringing this
across
up?
the way. Well, how you teach a cat to go to the bathroom in the toilet.
I got to say...
Is you make the hole bigger and bigger and bigger until they're comfortable.
That hairless cat is one of my least favorite cats, just because it looks like an alien. But the fact that it can use the toilet...
No. So the one they have now can't. But, no, it was their first cat.
There's multiple?
Yeah.
Dude.
Penelope and Lilith. Anyways, there's the first cat. So
Lilith Sternin?
That's
No?
the inspiration, yeah.
Okay. Better be. But yeah, the cat... Isn't that in one of the Meet the Parents movies or something,
Yeah,
too?
so he lacks the strength of the opposable thumbs.
Okay. We are so off topic today. So same deal, though, the incremental training. And that's obviously what old Gordon did, the Pigeon Man. And the pigeons come back from Catalina. Huell and Gordon are there, and they get the message.
Well, just look how... what's the first thing you notice when you look at the message?
I guess that there's a typo.
That's good. I missed that. I noticed how well manicured Huell-Hauser's nails were.
I didn't notice that, but I'm not surprised.
Dude, the cuticles,
Yeah.
they're well maintained.
Like, looking at my thumb, it's like a ragged mess
Yeah.
compared to this. We got to throw this up on Instagram, right?
Oh, yeah.
You already got it?
I got it.
So look for that on Sunday. Well, today's Sunday, too. We're obviously not recording right now as you hear it.
What?
Time travel. Message received reads, Huellhauser-KCET. Thank you for keeping the memory of our Catalina Island Pigeon Messenger Service alive.
Gliders.
Yours truly,
It's another to see them in action.
Otto,
So
Oswald,
next,
and
we
Lorenzo
left the
Zahn.
Marine base and headed
So,
a few miles out of town
Patricia
to the
signed
29
it
Palms Airport,
as the
where
deceased
some members
creators
of the Vintage
of...
Sailplane
names.
Association had brought in some restored gliders
man.
from the early 1940s.
But it totally worked.
Gliders exactly like the ones
And
those early
that's
pilots
totally
had trained in. In
kind
fact,
of
a number of
it,
those
right?
pilots were at the airport.
Oh,
It was
no. There's
kinda
one
like
last
a
thing I
little
wanted to
mini
mention.
reunion. And for
that
them, it was
Huell's
like stepping
doing
back
his little
in
wrap-up
time.
segment with Gordon. They're
Oh, yeah.
standing there.
I know where you're going.
Gordon's holding the bird, and Huell's kind of just like waxing on about it. He puts his hand underneath the pigeon's kind of belly to end the shot, and right before the shot cuts, the pigeon just flips and tries to get away. And Gordon's having to like squeeze its tail feathers to make sure it doesn't go away.
But did you notice Huell's rhyme? I thought that's what you're getting at.
No, what a... Well, I'm sure I heard it, but I
Oh,
missed
dude,
it.
his outro to this is
Say
great
it.
because he starts smiling like he's real. He realized that he could rhyme something,
Okay.
and he says, "No snow, sleet, or hail can stop this bird from delivering the mail."
Well, I mean, first off, he is just ripping off the motto of the U.S. Postal Service, but that rhyming part is new, so that's what he added, and
Oh, the smile on his face—that was the funniest part.
that's totally it.
Just self-congratulatory.
But we've been way down south. We need to go eastward. Well, we're staying south. We're way out west.
Northeast. Yeah.
We need to go east. Huell, where are you going?
On silent wings, they crash-landed into small fields, often flooded, mined, or planted with large poles by German troops. Enemy fire greeted them on the ground, and their casualties were high. Other aviators referred to them as suicide pilots, and many said that the G on their glider wings stood for guts.
No doubt about it, gliders played a major role in World War II, and the glider pilots were a special breed. And California played a major role in the training of those pilots. Our next destination, the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center, located in Twentynine Palms. Now these days, the base is home to over 10,000 Marines. But back in the early 1940s, this base was known as Condor Field and was operated by the U.S. Army Air Corps. Now this was one of the first major training areas for glider pilots, who eventually saw combat all over the world, especially in the European theater. Condor Field was a busy place, the sky over the high desert filled with gliders. And on this particular morning at the Marine base, I hooked up with two of those original glider pilots from 1942, guys who had gone through their training here. And along with a representative from the Marine Public Affairs Office, we revisited what was left of the original airfield.
All right, so Huell is coming in hot to 29 Palms.
Dude. Not as hot as those gliders were coming in right into those poles.
Oh, those suicide pilots?
Dude. So you heard it at the beginning of the clip. I had to throw it in there because what you're hearing is like an old newsreel strip about these gliders from World War II, and there's actual footage of them like... Well, it always looks like they're crash landing, but that's just kind of how they land.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the Germans had these poles just sticking straight up, and it would just, like, schlummy the heck out of these things. Oh, man.
It's crazy.
It was good. But we're in 29 Palms, as you heard, and this is the second time we've been in 29 Palms.
Yeah.
Because there's that time that they moved that schoolhouse. I guess that was Huell's first trip.
When they're bending the street sign.
Yeah, to get the building down the road. Huell really seems to not be super thrilled with being there, just because of the weather.
Yeah, he was mentioning how warm it was.
Yeah. Which is weird because he ended up living there. But he's only there for a short time, which I know he's there for at least 2 days because he changes his shirt a couple times. But as you heard, we're all about these gliders, and the reason we're in 29 Palms, as you heard, because there was a training facility there, and there's still like a Marine Corps base, and that's where we are to start. We're at the old barracks with
the old Drew Anderson
good old
and
Drew.
Phil Baldwin.
Mm-hmm. And they were trained, the class of 1942, to be glider pilots in World War II. And we start off at their old barracks, which, did you notice this old building?
Did you notice what Drew said, though? Wait. Yeah, Drew he doesn't have the bolo tie, right? That's
Phil.
That's Phil. Okay, so Drew, who's snapping a picture when Huell's trying to interview him.
Huell is interrupting them in this super, like, nostalgic moment of theirs.
That's true.
But come on, I'm sure they weren't filming the whole time, Drew.
But he does say something, because Huell talks about the weather, and then Drew says, well, we had an axiom. So, okay.
Yeah.
Some sort of logical system here. He says, flight suits during the day, your parka at night. First thing I thought of was La Parka from WCW.
One episode, we make a super crazy Anna La Parka joke. All right. We're going to have to switch this concept over to wrestling real quick. Can't believe you brought up the chairman of the board.
Oh, man.
Anyway, yeah. These dudes are characters for sure. Like, why does Phil have a tool belt when he's just on vacation? I don't know.
It's a good question.
But they were in the war. These are industrious dudes who flew these gliders into poles and survived. So who am I to question them?
Well, the guide from the military who takes them around, did you notice he had I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, the joke.
Yeah, that's generous. But
well, I mean, if it was on the spot, it seems recycled. It doesn't
very
seem he
much
came
so.
up with that. But they were talking about how they thought 29 Palms, coming from the East Coast, which a lot of people, you've experienced this too.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Beeman's California history class?
As always.
And the lady was in the class, and she was from, I think, Vietnam or some Southeast Asian country. And she said she was kind of sad when she moved here, and she asked Beeman, she said, where are all the beautiful people?
Whoops.
So anyway, it was like that. They thought it was going to be the beach.
She was just a big Marilyn Manson fan. It's fine.
Maybe. And he said, anyways, the bad joke is, well, we got the beach, we just don't have the water.
Bah. We don't get that guy's name, do we?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to make fun of him because we're not going to look him up and find out that he's like a really good, learned guy and everything. So sorry, bro, but you're forever you're forever cemented in television history. You got to come with the A game jokes. So we're out of the barracks. We're over at the airport now, the 29 Palms airport, and Huell is strapping these dudes in these old gliders. And if there's one thing that kind of gets me sometimes is old men doing things or seeing things that remind them of the young days, and them like holding their composure really hard. Because these dudes, obviously, this is like something that kind of defined them in a way too, just like old Pigeon Man Gordon from the last segment. It's not like they get to just fly gliders all the time.
Well, no, because Phil says it's been 50 years in December. Like, whoa.
He knew exactly.
Well, before we get there, though, when we first see the inside of the glider, do you notice what Huell said when he looks inside of it?
There's the stick?
That's the stick. That's what makes the whole thing work.
Oh, man.
That was my favorite. Anyway.
I mean, honestly, if I looked in a plane and I saw that thing, I would think, oh, that's what works it.
But that's the stick. You kind of just tap it just a little, little side.
Of course. Well, I was saying that these, Phil and Drew couldn't have flown gliders between then and now, but they could have, because this is all really being put on by the Vintage Sailplane Association,
a.k.a. Glider Freaks.
Yes. And you definitely know that I looked this up, and they're definitely still around, and you can totally become a member for only $45 per year. And if you buy multiple years, the price goes down incrementally.
Okay,
That's
but
if you're a U.S. citizen. There's international pricing that you need to deal with on your own. For our new Russian listeners.
The American Loyalty Program.
Did I tell you about this?
No.
So on our Instagram account, we can look at the kind of breakdown of where our followers come from. And since we did that Russia episode, there's been a few more Russian and Kazakhstani followers that I think maybe think that we're in on the whole Russian spying game. That's my assumption. Or they just were big Anastasia fans.
Maybe.
Either way, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
We're totally
More
not
than
spies,
welcome.
I promise.
Speak for yourself. So, where were we at on this?
We're
we're
talking
talking about
about
the membership. So the membership.
Uh-huh.
How does one get one's body into a glider and be able to glide above the Mojave Desert?
How does one?
How does one do that? Yeah. Does this membership, it's just to be in the club?
Okay, so their website was informative to a point. I'll put it that way. It didn't really go into that. It seemed like maybe a club for people who already own gliders. But there were also, there was like a shopping cart on there. Like you could buy things. So, and there was a little marketplace. So maybe you could buy and sell
A glider?
at least glider parts.
Or at least glider rides.
Speaking of rides, Huell does the interviews of both Phil and Drew as they're getting ready to be pulled out. And I don't know why I didn't think about this, but the fact that a plane has to tow this thing up in the air is pretty wild because, like, it's kind of sketchy to tow a car, but like,
Yeah, like the slack.
Yeah,
like it just pulls
exactly.
super hard, yeah.
and a dude has to run alongside and hold the wing up. That was the craziest part
Yeah.
to me.
Like, whoever came up with this idea, it's just a tiny wheel that it rolls on. Mm-hmm. Because for me, this is what happens when the plane's engine goes out, right? You start gliding.
You'd think.
So it's just interesting,
Yeah.
the concept of it.
Well, it does look kind of fun. I would do it. Ed Kogan is there with the coolest shirt of the episode.
And the coolest description.
Did you
of all
catch
this.
that?
Oh, yeah.
What did he say?
He was describing the different feelings you get. He said it's between wind sailing, and I guess on a speedboat, powerboat. I forget what he said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he said when you're gliding, this is what it must feel like. Must feel how God feels
Oh, gosh,
when he's
yeah.
looking down. I said,
I'm not
okay,
meaning to wax poetic, he said.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
These glider freaks, for sure, are like all freaks. Freakdom is...
So let's spell it, too. It's, for those who don't know,
Yeah.
freakdom is F-R-E-E. Well, we call them freaks. F-R-E-E-X.
But if you're talking about the feeling, the culture, freakdom, Freekdom.
Okay.
And everyone's a freak in their own way, whether you know it or not. Whatever you're kind of into, you're passionate about, it could be passionate about anything.
Kathleen likes eyebrows.
There you go. She's eyebrow freak.
Yep.
I would hang out with these glider freaks.
Oh, yeah.
And Huell, there's one thing that Huell does that really kind of makes the show more than just your average, oh, check this out kind of travel show, is that he gets all up in it.
Yeah. Which I had a note here said, man, where's Louis or Huell?
Exactly, right?
And
then that's going to be the last thing we're going to do. So
Okay.
we'll do that because it's quite a nice transition he does. I don't want to screw up his editing. But basically, that's going to wrap it up for this segment, this whole episode. And like I said, there's another recycled theme, and it's from the Blossom Trail episode. This is probably one of the most well-crafted renditions because that humming intro, that comes in.
Which I thought it was Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
It is. It's a little similar to that, but then the 3-part harmony and the fact that they were singing it in the orchards out there too. It's one of the best ones. I gotta say, it's not my favorite. It's maybe like the 4th favorite. But I've teased this a couple times. That favorite one, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know it's coming up this season, right?
I didn't.
It is.
Now I'm excited.
It's
we're halfway through the season.
It's a few episodes down the road. It's also happens to be another episode that has a Fresno segment. So, we got a lot of homies in Fresno. We might need to pull some in again.
Let's do it.
You know who you are. If you want to come, talk about Fresno, talk about a specific thing in Fresno that maybe is underground, hit us up. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. We're glad you came along with us this time, but come along with us next week and every week as we continue our search for
Hills Gold.
Before we left 29 Palms, cameraman Luis Fuerte and I were given the opportunity to go up in the old restored gliders. Now, it was the first time either one of us had ever been in a glider, and I must admit, taking off, the adrenaline was flowing. But once airborne, silently gliding over the vast Mojave Desert, it quickly became one of those wonderful experiences I'll never forget.
California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the sun. Each morning at dawning, birdies sing and everything. A sun-kissed mist says, don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate, California.